Welcome back. You're with the news on India today as India's biggest diplomatic offensive against Pakistan is being fought on a global stage. 11-judge bench today of the International Court of Justice has heard India's case against Pakistan's death penalty to Kulbhushan Jadhav. What we are expecting, another 3 hours from now, 6:30 India time, Pakistan will come forward with its 90-minute arguments. We're going to cut across to Jadhav Savant, our executive editor, who's fronting this news development from The Hague. He's joining us live. We also have Aravind. He's a friend of Kulbhushan Jadhav, watching the proceedings very cleanly alongside the family of Kulbhushan Jadhav. Jadhav, before I come to you, I want to quickly go across to Aravind. Aravind, there was a point that was made today by the legal delegation led by Harish Salve, and he said that we don't have consular access, one, and we don't even know the medical condition of Kulbhushan Jadhav. How is he physically, medically? Does that bother you? That he might have been tortured? What is his physical condition right now?
Exactly, that was the main reason we had been asking, in fact, earlier also, we want to know how he is. This was very important because we were not aware how Kulbhushan is right now. I mean, is he okay? Has he been tortured? As far as Pakistan Karawaya is concerned, I am very sure that they would have tortured him a lot. So we wanted this news, which in fact has come today.
Aravind, you've been speaking to the family of Kulbhushan Jadhav. How are they watching these proceedings today develop?
They too are quite worried, and in fact now after everything has been spoken about, now they are very hopeful that Kulbhushan will be released very soon. Everybody is hopeful about it.
All right, everybody is hopeful about it. I want to go across to Jadhav Savant, the executive editor, who's joining us from The Hague. Jadhav, another 3 hours, I believe, and then we hear the arguments put forth by Pakistan. There have been a fair bit of rumors going about whether or not Pakistan will attend this hearing, but of course they have. They are there today. They will argue their case. What are we expecting? All right. Gaurav, can you hear me? Gaurav, it's over to Gaurav. I believe we have Harish Salve with him. Yes, we have India's legal representative who's leading the case for India at the ICJ. We have Harish Salve. I believe he's coming out to speak to the press. Therefore, there's a media scramble. You can make out through those visuals there. My colleague, our executive editor, Jadhav Savant, is trying to get a word in with Mr. Salve. We're going to cut across to Jadhav in just about a minute. But yes, leading the front where the legal delegation is concerned, Mr. Harish Salve would be speaking on India Today in just about a few minutes. We're going to try and connect to him. All right, Jadhav, are you through with us? Gaurav, can you hear me? All right, Harish Salve there talking to the media. All right, we're going to try and once again reconnect to that the visuals there, as well as Harish Salve has just come out of the International Court of Justice at The Hague, and he's addressing the Indian media. There is a media stakeout there waiting for him to address the media. Clearly, Harish Salve, the legal representative for India, fighting India's biggest diplomatic offensive against Pakistan on the global stage. Let me once again try and connect.
I think the best case scenario is we'll get justice.
Sir, can we expect Kulbhushan Jadhav to be saved from the gallows?
We are here in that hope.
Sir.
Right. So, is there any kind of initial order coming from the court today? What can we expect in terms of...
I have no idea, but it's unlikely to be today. I'm sure they will like to discuss about consultant.
So how soon? Time frame, sir?
No.
Mr. Sharma, how did you feel about your proceeding from your argument side? How confident do you feel that the ICJ would listen to almost all the arguments?
We do our best. The rest, despair sentencing justices for the court. We only assess them.
So Pakistan has an argument that the Kulbhushan Jadhav case does not fall under the jurisdiction of the ICJ.
I haven't heard Pakistan's argument. I'm going to hear it against him.
Mr. Salve, why this shift take place that internationalizing this issue when India always keep national issues inside and between bilateral?
If you didn't understand it in the 1.5 hours you heard me, I don't think you'll understand it in 30 seconds.
Mr. Salve, many thanks for speaking to India today.
Thank you very much. Thank you for speaking to us.
I'm not pushing you.
Gaurav, are you with us?
Preeti, if you can hear me.
I can hear you, Gaurav, I believe. So we will not get a verdict today. The 11-bench judge will deliberate, at least for a day is what we are being told. It's over to you, Gaurav. Give us the latest.
They will deliberate. Yes, they will deliberate, Preeti. But we just heard Harish Salve, as he told journalists outside the International Court of Justice, that they are hopeful. They are very hopeful that justice will be done in this case. So what has happened so far, Preeti? If I could, for the benefit of our viewers, recap it. Harish Salve.
Gaurav, all right. Gaurav, we are having a bit of Gaurav, we are having a bit of a problem trying to connect your audio and your video link. We are just going to try and re-establish that link with you. Gaurav Sawant, our executive editor, just spoke to Harish Salve, who's leading the legal representative presentation for India at the International Court of Justice. We're going to connect to Gaurav Sawant, but let me quickly take you through on what we just heard Harish Salve say to the Indian media. He said that they were hopeful that Kulbhushan Jadhav will avoid the gallows there. He also said that he would be keenly listening to Pakistan's argument, that 90-minute time that has been accorded to Pakistan to present its arguments. That will happen at 6:30 India time. You can tune into India Today for the live broadcast of that. He also said that it's unlikely that the 11-judge bench will come up with its verdict today itself. They would deliberate on this case. The merits of this case would be deliberated on, and it would be at least a day before we could get a verdict from the 11-judge bench at the ICJ. We're going to try and connect once again to Gaurav Sawant, our executive editor, who just spoke to Harish Salve there. Gaurav, are you with us? All right, we don't have him yet, but let me quickly take our viewers through on the developments of the last 2 hours there. All right, I believe we have Aravind, who's friend of Kulbhushan Jadhav. He's joining us live. Aravind, you heard Harish Salve there. You're a dear friend. Now, somewhere down the line, you must be taking heart that the legal representation of India does feel that we have not just a fighting chance, but a very good chance where Kulbhushan Jadhav will at least, right now will not be hanged.
Precisely. In fact, it was a very good move, India government, when they approached ICJ. This has been a significant move, and we can see the verdict on 8 May, what came as a standby hold on his death penalty. So we are very hopeful. Now, since Salveji has put his point across perfectly, Pakistan will be, they don't have any other choice than to leave him.
All right, Aravind, stay on with us. Aravind has also been speaking to the family of Kulbhushan Jadhav, and they have told him that, of course, extremely worried, but very keenly watching the developments take place at The Hague. They're at least taking heart that India is doing all it can as it builds its biggest diplomatic offensive against Pakistan on the global stage. The 90-minute argument was concluded by the Indian legal representative, Harish Salve. The delegation has been led by Deepak Mittal. What we do know that there's an 11-judge bench which will deliberate, so we're not going to be hearing a verdict today. They will deliberate on the merits of the case. After the conclusion of the arguments put by Pakistan, India will once again have a chance to speak and present its counter. This will happen at 6:30 p.m. India time, 3 p.m. Netherlands time. Now, all of this is India's case against Pakistan's death penalty to Indian businessman Kulbhushan Jadhav. All right, let's just listen in to Deepak Mittal, who's leading the Indian representation to The Hague.
I appear before the court on behalf of the Republic of India with the hope that the court would indicate provisional measures so that the death sentence which has been awarded to Mr. Jadhav through a farcical trial in a Pakistan military court in violation of the rights guaranteed to Mr. Jadhav and India under Article 36, Paragraph 1 of the Vienna Convention would be set aside and not carried out pending final decision of the court on India's application.
The provisions
under Article 36 of the Convention specifically confer rights of consular access and communication upon the sending states and their nationals, who may be arrested, detained, or put in prison in the receiving state. India and Pakistan are members of the United Nations and thus ipso facto parties to the statute of the International Court of Justice. They are also a party to the Vienna Convention and its optional protocol concerning compulsory settlement of disputes.
Despite India's requests, Pakistan has denied consular officers the right to visit Jadhav. They have refused to communicate to the consular officers the charges against Jadhav and the evidence and other material adduced against him in the so-called trial, so as to enable them to arrange for his legal representation. The denial of access to Jadhav has resulted in consular officers of India being unable to arrange for legal representation of Jadhav and to assure themselves also of his safety and his well-being in custody.
All right, we're going to try and connect to Jadhav Sawant, executive editor, who's fronting the developments coming in from The Hague. But let's take our viewers through the very latest. Harish Salve, who's leading the Front for India legally, has said that the trial in Pakistan was conducted without anyone informing Jadhav of his rights. He also said that India was never given the charge sheet in this case at all. Secondly, Salve also added that India had sought consular access to Jadhav 16 times, denied all 16 times. The crux of the argument put forth by India was that the Vienna Convention has been breached by Pakistan in the issue of consular access to Jadhav. This underlines the farcical nature of the trial which was accorded to Kulbhushan Jadhav. Aravind, who's a friend, a dear friend of Kulbhushan Jadhav, he's joining us live right now. You know, Aravind, right now there are so many questions, and one of them that we were discussing earlier is there is a fair bit of concern and worry regarding the physical health of Kulbhushan Jadhav, something that Mr. Salve also put forth in the court, stating that because we haven't been accorded consular access, we don't even know the physical condition of Kulbhushan Jadhav.
Precisely. In fact, everybody was worried about it. The way Pakistan people know about them, and in fact everybody was worried how he is. So Salveji has put this, since they have been denying it all the time, the consular access to India, we were not able to understand what exactly has happened to them, happened to Kulbhushan ji. In fact, we were so worried that at a moment we thought probably he's...
Right.
Yeah.
Aravind, you know, even the visas for the family were rejected. Are you in touch with them? Are they, you know, I'm sure they're at their wits' end not knowing how Kulbhushan Jadhav is right now.
Yeah, hopefully now after this they would be getting the grant for visas, and hopefully Avanti ma'am and uncle would visit them very shortly and meet him. We are very hopeful on that.
All right. You know what we'll do is, Aravind, we'll quickly dip into what Harish Salve, who is leading the Legal Front for India, and the main points that he made in that 90-minute argument that he presented at the ICJ. Let's just listen into that.
Jadhav was allegedly arrested on the 3rd of March 2016 and has been in custody. He was tried by a military court in Pakistan and has been convicted and sentenced to death, which sentence was confirmed on 10th of April 2017. It is not in dispute that India has made innumerable requests since March 2016 for consular access. Pakistan admittedly did not provide consular access. India claims that the rights of the individual and the rights of India under Article 36 of the Vienna Convention have been violated all along from the time of the alleged arrest of Jadhav. Pakistan did not inform the consular post of India about the arrest of Jadhav at the time of the alleged arrest, and India received information of his arrest only on 25th March 2016. Despite India's requests, Pakistan has denied consular officers the right to visit Jadhav. They have refused to communicate to the consular officers the charges against Jadhav and the evidence and other material adduced against him in the so-called trial, so as to enable them to arrange for his legal representation. The denial of access to Jadhav has resulted in consular officers of India being unable to arrange for legal representation of Jadhav and to assure themselves also of his safety and his well-being in custody.
Well, a scathing offensive been put by India's legal delegation headed by Harish Salve. We'll continue to track developments. What we are expecting, 6:30 p.m. is when Pakistan will come up with its arguments in 90 minutes.